headed to the top, you can bet that. Catch us cruising in.
Alright, hip hop, we on deck with segment 2. We keeping it the game, you know. We still have the same guests, obviously. And we're gonna jump back into. We're gonna talk about. Everyone talked about the project that they like, but we're gonna talk about how it impacted you, how it, made you check for him a little more. We'll start with you, Jay. Everyone pretty much talked about his debut is the album as far as the full project.
Yes.
Okay.
Documentary for me, like I said earlier, was like a soundtrack. The music, just like coming in with West Side Story was like. I remember vividly, jumping in the car and putting that on, and I could play that for hours straight.
That was it.
And just the different levels that he took you through with the project, from dreams and, even going a little commercial of how we do. You know what I mean? Start my life from scratch. All of these things. I can remember that time period for me. My friends. I think he spoke directly to a lot of the things we were going through, you know what I'm saying? And I think it gave us that hip hop feel, that culture feel of being able to speak for us.
Definitely.
In ways that we may not have, you know what I'm saying? So for me, the documentary, in 05 was like a really pivotal year for me, you know what I'm saying? Coming from where I'm coming from, the things I've been through. So the documentary was like the soundtrack for me on everything.
Love the documentary.
For me, I think it was just a whole aspect. I can imagine, I'm saying this, I'm from Brooklyn. But he brought me to the West again.
Heavy.
I ain't been in the West since Snoop, and you know what I'm saying? Since Snoop, Dre, since Pocket. That was the first time you saw kind of the reinvention or the new next level of the West Coast sound. So I'm like, I'm back in Cali. I ain't been in Cali in how long? When songs like "Hate It or Love It," that's like the whole
I love that
reinvention of the whole West Coast vibe, and it's just that right there, and his ability to storytell, because you're telling something that's different. Because if you're on the East, you're hearing, what's around the corner, because you see it every day. But when he's over here talking about low riders, and he's over here palm trees, he's talking about a whole different. You pack your bags, you in Cali. You know what I'm saying? You in Cali.
And the way he meshed it,
everything.
I'm low riding, Yankee fitted on. Play on the train. It was just like
he definitely meshed it. He definitely meshed it. He did.
You know what I mean?
Because he rep hard for LA, but he definitely, like you said, throwing. I'm in the New York. I'm in the Bentley. Atlanta culture, this culture, that culture. You right.
That was like a modern, that was a modern day. If you want to look at it like a modern day life after death, a West Coast life after death.
Most definitely.
I can see it.
With the features, with the production
it wasn't punchlines. It wasn't just rap.
Nah.
He was like, speaking to you. It wasn't just rap. He was speaking to you.
He painted a picture for you.
Right.
And I feel like with us leaving, what a lot of consider the golden era and coming fast forward to where it became about a lot of other things, right? You have like the Fabs and Dipsets of the world being out, and it was very visual, very colorful. I think that he took the colors and he put it in perspective. You know what I'm saying? He walks you down that line of, whether it was red or blue, yellow or brown. He made you understand. And again, like I said, he put the West back on the map. No disrespect to anybody else, but he definitely took you back to LA and made you remember what Compton was. And even what you think about with Dre, right, and with Eazy-E, he put those iconic figures, those legends back in the forefront.
Kept their name in his mouth. Pause.
Kept it, right? And he made it okay to pay homage. Right? It's like a lot of people start with, what's the terminology? Getting too big for your britches, right? It made it okay to say, listen, these are the legends. This is who showed me how to do it, and I'm doing it my way. And I think that, some of that gets lost.
It definitely does.
This egotistical world.
And he carried the torch. A bit like, y'all must have forgot about the West. Like, I'm cut from the cloth.
Because it wasn't 1,000 people
out
at that time.
Like, he sounded like, you know what I'm saying, MC8s. Like, he's over here repping hard. And I was just like, yo, I respect that.
Kind of was Dolo, too. Because it's like, we spoke off camera about a lot of dudes, but they weren't like in the forefront. I forgot you mentioned like Glasses Malone, you got a few people, but around this time, Game was kind of like holding it down.
That culture made it national.
Yeah, he held it down.
He said, "I am the West."
Even with the gang culture, he still made hip hop culture though, as well. So
he definitely fused gang culture with hip hop because you cannot, in a lot of senses, you can't have one without the other.
Especially
the impact on both sides. You know what I'm saying, and I think even here in New York City. I think about it. It was about a little over a decade since gang culture became big here in New York City. And there was a lot of questions of who, why, and how. And then you had the Game coming to New York, embracing gang culture over here. You know what I'm saying? Hooking up with Jim Jones, and it just made it that much bigger, right? Before that, you
Jim
had
Jones
the,
Connect was dope.
you know what I'm saying? Before that, you had, you know, no disrespect to Cash Money, but people were wearing any color. It made it obvious of like, okay, these are the colors we wear because this is what our culture is, but it's bigger than that for hip hop. So you've been seeing him and Snoop be together, you know what I'm saying? You know, going on tour, having J-Rock and Nipsey with him at the same time. I think
He never hated on nobody. He had Kendrick on his album. He never hated. But we're gonna jump into that part. So we talked about how good his albums are. What are the? I know it's hard. What are his 2 best albums? You think?
Yo, for me, I'm going with the documentaries. I'm going.
Oh,
with,
and then
I'm
part 1 and part 2.
I'm going with the documentary, the original first one, and the documentary 2. I'm talking about part 2.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the part 2.
Before you get into it, let me get your picks for the best 2 albums.
I'm going with the documentary, and I'm gonna go with Doctor's Advocate, but it's like I'm on the line with LAX, but I'm gonna go with Doctor's Advocate because for me, you know, LAX, he gave us that feel again from the documentary, like as being like the underdog and wanted to like reintroduce you to what's going on. But I think that the Doctor's Advocate for me, when he's able to kind of step out of the shadow, and it's like he was like Scotty in '95. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go for the ring again without Mike. So to me, I respected it.
I'm gonna go. Obviously, we all going documentary. It's a classic. It's one of my favorite debuts. From someone not from New York. I'm going LAX. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let you explain your picks though. You said documentary and documentaries.
Yeah, 2 point. And the reason why I think it was just collectively, it was like his coming out party as far as like resurgence back. I'm talking part 2.
Part 2.
When I'm talking about part 2, I'm talking about both of them.
Right.
Look at that stuff. Not 2.1.
I'm talking part 2.
Like it's just like a resurgence when you've seen all the collaborations that he had with different people and different elements. You know, the diversity. I think track by track, he maintained and held his own with the various different sounds, having Q-Tip on it. So it wasn't just a regular, like his choices of, he had Kendrick on there. He over here had Nas on there. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but while we on that, that Puffy track wasn't dope. That Puffy track was
when like standing for Ferraris, like
that shit was
standing
crazy.
for Ferraris.
I just bring it up because it's like people just be fronting and just dismissing tracks, and it's like that shit was
not
fire.
acting like come on.
Okay, so the album you picked as his best, are those his best albums lyrically? The ones I picked, I don't know, man. It's tough. I think LAX is one of his best lyrically albums. I don't know.
LAX is actually one of his best lyrical albums, and it's funny. One of the others that I actually want to nominate, I'm going to save because the second part is what you're going to ask us. I want to touch on it, but I think that all of his albums are lyrical.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think that
It's consistent, pretty consistent.
very consistent,
Consistent.
and I think that it's really dope that each one personifies like where he's at.
It does.
You know, within his journey and as a person. I think that's something else that really should put him up there a little bit higher in the question of, overall artists who should be respected. Because not every artist is still delivering a body of work that is synonymous with like their journey in music. Some people might just say, oh, you know what, Jersey's in, I'm going to do an album about Jersey.
Any trend, they just hop on.
Timberland's in, I'm going to do an album about Timberland. I think that he always gave you something that spoke to exactly where he was at. I think that's something that we can respect. For me too is, right, and I said I wanted to save this point. Jesus' piece to me is, hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I had to go back and listen to it again. And I'm just like, wow. The features, the people that he sparred with on these songs.
It's crazy.
But to me, that's not what I look for when I turn on the game. So as you're asking the game fan for what it speaks to for me, it's like I would very easily just put LAX on over Jesus' piece, only for what the game speaks for me. But I think that, you cannot knock him for having Cole, Kendrick, Fab,
Mills,
Pusha T, even
Kanye,
on the Meek Mill record, I feel like you piped Meek Mill down 2 paces when he's on fire. Right? You know what I'm saying? So that to me is like, you cannot not having Common and Ye on a song.
I mean, but he's good for that.
D'Angelo, like, you know what I mean? So I had to go back and listen to it again.
My bad, we're gonna have to cut it there. That was my shit at the end of the flip. We're gonna cut it there. Talk about our guy, The Game. Tune in, let us know, what album you think was his best, most lyrical, not the best. Tune in. If you ask me, hit that red button, subscribe.